Hey everybody, welcome to I'm Razor and this is THS Discourse, and tonight we're going to finish up talking about the Friday the 13th films. Last week we covered 1 through 6, Jason Lives, which is the best, and since Seth isn't here at the moment, I can say it's the best without any kind of argument, right? Right, it's the best. Uh, we're going to talk about A New Blood. We're going to talk about Jason Takes Manhattan. We're going to talk about Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, and the 2009 remake, and maybe Freddy versus Jason. So I'm going to introduce everybody a little bit differently tonight because I want the first word. I had to deal with like 6 months of Keith saying, and we're live. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Seth first. Seth, how you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
You already asked me that, but I'll say it again. I'm good. No, you didn't ask me that. You know what? You're kind of selfish.
I know.
No. Yeah. Anything you want to say before we add the other folks?
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna plug my other show that I just started with my buddy Kevin. You can find us on YouTube. It's called Questionable Taste. Where the idea is we're mostly going to be talking about the positive of certain movies instead of focusing on the negative, and just talk about what we like. We'll go into the territory of what we don't like, but yeah, check us out.
When you get a chance, why don't you post the link in the comments so anybody who wants to follow it, they can follow along.
Okay.
We're going to go ahead and add 4K himself.
Hello.
Keith, how are you doing tonight?
I'm pretty good. Did you add 2009?
Yeah, I added 2009. Well, you're the remake. You know, everybody's got a name. Anything you want to say before I bring Nate on?
No.
Okay. Hey, Nate, how you doing?
Hi.
All right, we've got Nate. We've got who's missing? Oh, it's the fun third. We've got the whole team here. How's everybody's doing? Good tonight, I'm guessing. We were talking Friday the 13th again, right?
Right.
All right, so I hope everybody shared it. We've got some viewers tonight. We're talking Friday the 13th. We're talking the last 6 movies, which, for my money, I think the 2009 remake is the best out of the last few. Anybody disagree? That goes for you two out there watching us. If you disagree, let us know in the comments.
Yes.
You disagree?
Maybe.
What's up, David Gill? Who did this? I have no clue. I got it at Horror Hound like 5 years ago. Let's see. Alex is here. We got our regulars here, so we can start the show now for sure. We got all the regulars here. All right. So Jared? Tell me, which one do you think is the strongest in the last 6 or so?
Well, this is all obviously only personal preference.
Sure.
But part 7 is really, really near and dear to my cockles of my heart. And obviously Manhattan, it has its issues, but it's also a very fun one because they totally went out of their fucking comfort zone with that fucking movie. And
I think that's the theme of this part of the series, out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, totally. Because, I mean, I'm a Friday the 13th fan. Like, none of the sequels are terrible to me. Like, I even love Jason X. I will say that. I even like Jason X.
That's okay to say that because I think Jason X is fun in its own right.
Yeah.
David Gill says, I like the 2009 movie more than Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X for sure. They're all good in their own right, I think.
I think I could agree with that.
That sequel was stupendous. It took a while for me to like it, but 7 seems to be near and dear to my heart. I like 7 quite a bit. I think I said it last week when we were talking. I only had Jason Takes Manhattan for many years, and so that's one I saw a lot. I love it. I love them all, really. I don't really have too much. I used to really dog on Jason Goes to Hell, but after Mike Lombardo beating into my head for 2 years, I think I've come around to liking it a little bit more.
The shaving scene.
Yeah, it's just not a great movie at all. Really, none of them are. But so why don't we start with A New Blood, which was Keith's favorite. Is it still?
I think it's still my favorite. but some movies are just better
Favorite? That was
or
a
better
long
or
list.
better movies, if that makes sense.
Well, that's the thing about a favorite. It doesn't have to be the best one, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, except for in my case, where Jason Lives is my favorite, and it is the best one. But
Because that's my thing. Like when I tell people things I like numerically, it's like these are my favorites, not like these. This is the best made movie or the best put together movie. It's just it's my favorite.
well, let's get into why this one's good. And I think the coolest part, the biggest attraction is Carrie Ruth's Jason, and then you got Kane Hodder's first appearance as Jason in that wonderful makeup. Let's start there. Let's talk about the makeup a little bit. Who wants to jump in?
Sorry, go ahead.
You're good. I was just gonna say I think it's the best looking Jason out of all the Jasons. I mean, it's just he's badass looking.
Kane Hodder himself is the best looking Jason. Or?
Well, apparently, according to my fiance, yes.
Really?
We were watching Goes to Hell, and I was like, "That's Kane Hodder as the security guard," and she was like, "He's pretty good looking." And I was like, "Jesus Christ!"
She loves mullets.
Yeah.
Another bit of big old pussy anyway. I love that.
Has she seen him in Best of the Best or House 2?
No, she has not.
No, but I agree with you.
Go ahead, Jared.
The makeup, John Carl Buechler obviously he directed the movie, but he obviously had a huge hand in the makeup effects too, because he comes from a very strong special effects background. But that look alone, like that was what scared me as Jason, like growing up. Like you see the broken plate in the mask, and you see how
You got the spine on his back.
You got to think he's been underwater for what, a year or?
Yeah, I'm not sure how long it has been.
Tina was small.
Depending on which version continuity you go for, like he's been underwater, so he's decimated.
He's been there for almost a decade. Pretty sure it's almost a decade.
It was a really effective look for him, and considering we had CJ before that who did such an amazing job in that role, and then it just flip flops everything on its head, and then you got this fucking crazy looking Jason.
He's more intimidating than all the other Jasons in my opinion. But I mean that also is part of Kane too, with his breathing and how he moves. And then plus where you've got the added effect of you can see under the mask a little bit, and you get that one shot of his jaw line like moving.
Yeah. That is really cool to see under the mask. Also, he's also, I think, abused the most in this movie out of any of the other movies. I mean, think about some of the shit that happens to him. He gets a fucking house dropped on him for the most part.
He gets lit on fire. He gets electrocuted.
Well, he explodes and Jason goes to hell. But I mean,
true, but that's one scene out of multiple things.
Well, it was cool to see somebody like Tommy in part 6 really had to use his he had to adapt and use his brain to figure out what to do with Jason, knowing he can't kill him. This one, you got Tina just ripping the shit out of him. However, I like that scene where the mask is being squeezed so tight you can see the pus coming out of his head, and the mask ends up breaking. Such a good scene. I wonder if any of those paramedics kept that mask.
I think the other thing I like about 7 is it's almost like the Nightmare on Elm Street of the Friday the 13th movies because of the telekinesis and stuff. Like there's a character who can actually stand up against Jason.
Yeah, I agree. Nate, you got a question.
It's this Jason. Yeah, you can't even. I mean, I'm sure people can argue about it, but the part 7, that's not only the best Jason. This is one of the best looking zombies I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah,
like he's. I mean, when that mask comes off,
he looks inhuman.
It's animated. It's like there's all kinds of stuff going on in there. That's
snarl.
The nasty teeth and the pale blue eye and he just looks. And when Tina, like you said, Tina's fucking with him, it's just like you can see he's like just pissed and like and confused and like
Can't do anything about it.
who's like no one's done this shit to me before. like trying to gauge what's happening, and then it's just got that Kane's Jason just had so much animation to it. There were so many. I don't know if he's the best, but he definitely. It's no wonder why he became a fan favorite and kept going because of who he is personally, his personality in person, and just the way he handles himself. And I mean, he just fully embraced that character, off screen and on screen. Where, I mean, he wears that like his heart is in Jason in many ways, and to the point where when he didn't get to do Freddy versus Jason, it really crushed him. I mean, so yeah, part 7 is just like it's just the detail, the level of work that goes into that. It's not just that mask and the headpiece. It's like you said, when he comes out of that water and you see that spinal cord and those shoulder blades, and you see when he's walking, that shot just where he's walking, you see the bones in his knees and his shins and the rib cage and everything. It's just a phenomenal makeup job that you can't question. No matter how you feel about the movie, every time he shows up on screen, it's just like, whoa, look at that son of a bitch. Wow.
And this is a good comment. It says this is probably part 7 is the quintessential look for Jason. Maybe. Honestly, at cons, he says you see him at cons. I see a lot more at part 3 or part 4 at cons than anything else. But
it's a variety.
It's also because they're easier to do.
They're much easier to do.
Right.
Now I'm seeing Ghost Jason never hike alone a lot too. Yeah. It's a great look. I love it, and it just adds to what happened in part 6. John Carl Buechler said himself in Crystal Lake Memories. If you haven't seen that's a great documentary. But he said he wanted every little bit of abuse that happened to Jason throughout all those movies to be in this makeup, and you can see it. You can see where the axe from part 4. You can see where the motorboat chipped out the mask, it's really cool looking. I think
machete in the side of the eye and across the side of the head.
I got it up.
And if anybody watching has Shudder, that documentary is on Shudder.
Yeah, it's on Shudder. Or you could be a real horror fan and buy it. Probably on 4K.
Yep, I own it.
I just want to chime in. I saw a comment from Andre that said that it reminded him of like EC Comics.
Yeah,
and I totally get that. Like the look of Jason is something you would like see on a cover of those old EC Comics, like Vault of Horror or something. I like that.
Yeah, and recreated by Corey Holiday on some of his posters from Raw Consumption. Here's a comment from Kevin. Your mate on your show. Friday 6 was a great film, but I love Kane's performance in 7, 8, 9 Goes to Hell. I had a hokey story, but Uber Jason was badass and is badass. Remake, he's typing a whole story here, so give me remake is really good. Far better than Freddy and Leatherface and Halloween remake. I agree.
I like it more than those.
Yeah, I like the remake better. Jason X, we'll get to it. But anyway, yeah, there's a couple things about part 7. First of all, let's talk about Terry Crews. Terry Crews
has an immaculate text.
Yeah,
that Jason the best.
First of all, my first time I ever noticed Terry Crews was when he was in The Longest Yard. He kept giving cheeseburgers to everybody out of his pants. I thought that was awesome. That was him, right?
You get a cheeseburger. You get a cheeseburger.
No, let's talk about the Bad News Crews and some of the cast members, because in some ways this may be the most by the numbers and somewhat bland Friday the 13th, in my opinion, because of some of the characters. They're just all cannon fodder. You don't care about almost any of them. Am I wrong in thinking that?
Except I like Dr. Cruz. I thought he was a great secondary villain.
Dr. Cruz. I'm talking about all the teens or whatever.
Oh yeah,
Throng R and all that shit.
It's a crowded cast, and I don't know. I think it's also I mean,
I like
a lot
as
of
Bernie.
I don't know. I think it's cool. You got the secondary villain that's working against the protagonist, and
Maybe a tertiary with Melissa. She was
yeah. You're right. Yeah,
I was gonna get to her because she was the standout for me. She was such a fucking bitch, and had,
Yep.
in my opinion, my favorite death in the movie.
She's my least favorite character in all the Friday the 13th movies, and it makes it better when she finally gets killed because she had no right lasting that long in that fucking movie. I can't stand her.
She had every right.
Yeah, but the payoff was great with that.
It was.
Opens the door, gets an axe to the face, and thrown across the room. I love it. Melissa got what she deserved.
I will say, like, some of the characters, they seem to have a little bit more character, or maybe they have more. They show what they're in more, because you have fiction stories, and then you have God, what the hell is her name? Who everybody thinks is ugly, apparently. But they have something more besides
Maddie,
this one's
the
a
ugly
slut,
duckling?
this one's a stone, this one's drunk. They have a little bit something different than all the other movies are in characters with different names.
I mean, the sci-fi guy is just a new Shelley, or there's been that character, the obnoxious nerd who why is he with this group, kind of thing. It's but talking about that one girl, that's probably one of my favorite segments in the series is the shed scene where she's hiding from him and she looks through the hole and sees him in there. That's a very suspenseful, creepy scene. That's always really worked for me. And when he finally he's looking around and he looks right at her, and the music cues, and then he walks off, and she's like, it's just a scary. It's kind of it's similar to, one of my favorite scenes in Halloween, which is the rest stop scene. It's kind of like that, where she's going in and out of. Well, in the new one, she's crawling under the stalls and going on the other side and all that. But they're similar, where you're trapped in a small space with a killer on the other side of that door, and there's not really anywhere for you to go, and you just got that little vision of what you can see of him and where he's at. So Jason got to it first, that little creepy setup.
Yeah, that is a good scene. And she said her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, used to rewind that scene every time. Another thing about this movie is Jason really decided to kind of expand his horizons with how he killed people.
It's like John Matrix in the third act of Commando. Right. He's just like, what else do I got?
Saw blades.
Saw blades.
Well, he used something I've never seen before, that tree trimmer.
Yeah.
It's like, where the fuck did that come from? And whose shed did that come out of? It's like, I know in Pool Party Massacre, Drew Marvick's film, he kind of did that because of that movie, I do believe. He kept going back to the shed and pulling a new instrument out to kill with. In that movie, well, his killer.
It's just, what's funny about that is Kane looks so badass with that, and that weapon's so unique, and you're like, oh my god, this is so cool. When Kane starts it, he's standing there holding it, then it's just over. It's like, well, that was kind of underwhelming.
Cursed the day.
I mean, and to that point, this movie does suffer in some ways because it was kind of chopped apart by the MPAA. I wonder what we could have seen in a scene like that.
Don't make me cry.
Make him cry.
It'll never happen.
Yeah, it'll never happen. The prints are lost in a fire or something like that.
Yeah. Fire. Mm-hmm.
Did Freddy do it?
You get the sleeping bag kill. You get the kazoo kill.
I mean, at the same time, you can't. I mean, how much better would have those? How much better would have made the movie? But at the same time, fans like us, we want that stuff.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I probably said that people act like the movie's terrible because of that. I don't think that would have made the movie 10 times better or anything like that. You may have gotten your gore satisfaction, but it's not going to make the film overall better to have a few seconds more of blood and guts.
I felt like all the weapons kind of pushed it. It was cool, but I'm like, kill someone, go back to the ship. Yeah, actually, I believe they had a contract with the Home Depot to get as many.
You get a DeWalt. You get a DeWalt.
You get a DeWalt. Oh, you want a rigid? Here you go. Here's
Is
my walk.
is this the first one he uses a tent spike? It's kind of strange that it took that many movies for him to use that. It's like a perfect weapon for Jason to use.
I'm glad you brought that up because I have a question about the tent spike. Because Dr. Cruz, Tina C has a vision, so she's multi-talented. She's got visions. She can move things with her mind. But anyway, she sees somebody dying with that, and then all of a sudden it's stuck in the porch. Did Jason do that, or I'm confused. Yeah. Jason's all over the fucking place in this movie too. He's just wandering all over. Why doesn't he bust in that house and just start killing people? He's just, nope, let's fuck with her. Let's put that tense. I know she saw me in that vision. Let me put that on the porch.
Well, she raised him up from the lake, so he felt like he kind of owed her a little bit. So he's like, I'll just wait and save her for last. I'll just give her a little warning.
Is that why he put it there? He's like, yeah, you're proud of me.
I mean, that's the thing. It's just like when we talked about, which was it, part 4? Like Jason left all the way from Crystal Lake to go to this chick's house and call her on the phone.
Part 2.
Part 2? Okay, sorry.
Okay,
Jason does things. Fucking.
I moved up.
What just happened?
All right, so. Sorry. I just want to try it. I can kick people anytime I want. I don't like what you're saying. You're gone. No. Like this old sports show I used to watch. I think it was called Pardon the Interruption or something like that, where they used to mute people, and I loved it. Anyway, don't leave me in control. No. I was just curious about that. I didn't think about that though. Seth went because she raised him out of the lake and then passed out, and he just left her there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess he could have killed her, but again, maybe it was foresight. We're gonna have one badass fight. Let me wait till she comes around.
He's looking for a towel. That's what he's looking for.
Yeah. Well, plus the other thing, when the doctor goes out there to look at what she's talking about, it just shows us like looking at the exact spot where this spike would have been, and he's like, "There's nothing there." But obviously later you find out he took it. But it's set up in a weird way to tell the viewer that he doesn't see anything. But when you watch it the second time, he's looking exactly where he took it from. Mm-hmm. So it kind of just takes that part away for second viewing.
Dr. Cruz is just a putz.
Can we talk about the end of the movie?
No.
Because that's like my least favorite part of this whole movie.
Just the end?
The ending annoys the shit out of me.
Why?
Yeah.
Love conquers evil. This man has been in the lake for I don't know how many years. He looks completely fine. I don't know if he's supposed to be a fucking ghost or a well-preserved zombie.
He's just a little dirty.
Like he looks like a pirate or something.
This is what happens when you're in the lake for 10 years and you're not Jason. You look fine. You're just a little dirty.
I know the picture of him that's in the cabin or whatever. He looks like Jeff Bridges and Starman. But yeah, the ending, like we were talking about that, like it is kind of like, oh, but on paper it's cool. It's like, all right, her dad saves her. That's kind of cool because that's been the whole everything that's bothering her is what happened to her dad, and like her dad comes back to save her. It sounds cool. It's a good idea. It just doesn't play out right. I think it's because we've watched this whole fight with Tina and him, and that's how you end that big battle. Because Carrie doesn't kill him. It's a ghost dad. It's fucking Bill Cosby comes out.
Bill Cosby, yeah.
Takes him down.
Would it have been better if they would have used his original makeup also? He looked different originally. He didn't just have a little bit of dirt on his face. And his sweater wasn't... He looked like a zombie.
That sounds better.
You should take your own advice and watch Crystal Lake Memories.
It at least makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, they show what he looked like originally, right? In that.
Yeah, in Crystal Lake Memories. Yeah, that was twice. But yeah, he did look better, but still the ending. I don't know. That's I don't know if that might be the worst ending. Well, no, the next one's probably got the worst ending. But yeah, it's definitely not a good one. She could have ripped him in half. I think. What's that whole question? Like, why did her? How was it in her mind? Like, was the whole thing in her mind? That's another question because she obviously had a lot of problems. Did she conjure all this up?
None of it happened.
None of it happened.
How many of the films in slasher films in the ambulance driving away with the protagonist? And I was wondering because that one ends. I was like, it's just like that's how we got to end our movie.
2 ended that way also.
Yeah, it's got to be more than that.
Well, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll go through and start watching slashers again and count the ambulance driving away. See how many movies we get. I'm sure My Bloody Valentine has it.
Halloween 2 had it, right?
Yeah, Halloween
Yeah.
2, yeah. That's right. The best movie ever.
A lot of them do.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 7. I'm gonna go with 7.
And then Carl comes out of the body bag and tries to shoot them with his gun. Oh, wrong movie.
All right. Is there anything else we want to say about Part 7? Anything you guys want to say about Part 7?
I love the score and I love the opening narration. I think that really kind of sets the stage for me. 7 isn't like one of my top favorites, but it's definitely like towards like the middle of my list. I think it's a really good movie. Jason looks really good. I think my only problem with it is as a Friday the 13th fan. I mean, they started with Part 6, but they started getting a little bit more fantastical. Bringing in the element of in Part 6 it was zombie. Part 7 it was telekinesis. Part 8 was teleportation. They're kind of going towards the X-Men.
I think it could have done like what could have done better for this movie was a little bit of what Jason Lives had, which was the humor. And like this movie doesn't have a whole lot of humor.
I think it tried though.
I think it tried, but also it's all flat.
Did try for sure.
Yeah, because they're like the scene where the guy opens a beer and it goes everywhere, and that's supposed to be funny. He falls out of bed. Caveman need.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't mind that it got darker. Like that they were trying to do more of a serious horror movie in comparison to the tongue-in-cheek, nature of Part 6. But I don't know. Just I understand like this for any franchise. The more you go on, you're not gonna want to keep doing the same thing. You don't want to do something different. But at the same time, it maybe got a little too different for me. So like Part 7 was like to me, it was the last good one.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
I think
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why you're wrong. Jason Takes Manhattan.
I have nothing positive to say about Jason Takes Manhattan.
There's some
nothing.
positives.
Nothing.
Okay, Julius. There. That's it.
Take your best shot.
So let's move on to Jason Takes Manhattan and talk about it's not that bad. It's hampered with many problems because of budget, and we didn't get the full Jason taking Manhattan. He took Times Square.
Well, my problem with it is not even that stuff. Like I don't mind that he wasn't in New York for very long. It's the writing of the movie. It was like they wrote. It was like I said in the comments the other day. It was like they took a crayon and wrote out the script that way. Everything with the toxic waste in New York. Rennie's hallucinations of young Jason. I mean, she would have not have been a kid at the time Jason was in the lake. I don't know. It just was to me. It's a stupid movie.
Terrible storyline.
Also, lakes lead to oceans.
Yeah,
I will buy into.
Apparently, Crystal Lake is a tributary to New York.
I don't want to shit on this too much because I know some of you guys like it, but I buy into Jason Goes to Hell more than fucking Jason Takes Manhattan. With that, I'm gonna back off.
Well, she heard the legend of little boy Jason drowning. I mean, that's why she saw him as a little boy. She was just having visions. That's what I'll say that.
What'd
The
you
ending
take
is
from it?
ridiculous because the toxic waste turned him into a little kid. I'm glad they didn't show the giant Jason mouth and him falling out of the as a kid. Did you guys ever see that?
Mm-hmm.
Like
When I was watching it last night, I think it was, I kept waiting for little boy Jason, and I was like, wait, that's not actually part of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's legit not a good movie, but I have a lot of fun with it still.
It's fucking fun.
Yeah,
I will give you that.
I think it's
It doesn't
fun.
make sense at all.
I think it's Jason on a boat is a lot of fun. I like some of the characters, not all of them, 'cause some of them are just bullshit. But like Julius is he's a fun character. Kelly Who's death is pretty cool. The way it was shot. The creepiest kill.
Who knew there was a waterway from?
I totally agree with
Leg.
Geeker there. That's a very scary kill.
Yeah, did you ever see the outtake where Kane Hodder they open it up and it's the upshot, you know, the low angle shot, and he's got a dildo on? You ever see
Yep.
that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Also, that's Daddy Daytona, by the way. I do believe. Watching this on YouTube. He like Cobra. Who's Cobra? What's his
Cobra.
puking? Yeah,
He's got Dawn of the Dead. I like it.
Kane Hodder could puke on command. I did not know that.
It sounds like a bad thing.
Yeah, I think my boss can. I like the mask. My third favorite mask. Well,
I
let's
do
not-
like the mask.
Yeah, I like the very slick chevrons.
Yeah. Geek Room Life is, in fact, Keith's daddy, Daytona.
Daddy Daytona. I was talking to him before the show.
You guys are just two peas in a
Man,
pod.
Manhattan feels like an MTV Jason movie to me.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
that's definitely what it is.
Thank you very
Slick and it's clean.
Jason takes Manhattan
And
a lot of fun. You're cool in my book.
I mean, obviously they had some like hard rock stuff with the girl with the guitar in the ship, but I mean,
This place is just aching for a music video.
exactly.
God damn it.
Like, that's kind of like what that movie felt. It felt like a polished Friday the 13th film.
Well, Keith mentioned that it was like a, what'd you say, like a
TV movie? Definitely a TV movie. It doesn't. It,
You're riding Nate's coattails on
no,
Silver Surfer.
it feels like the least polished Friday the 13th movie to me. It like everything feels like a set, like super deliberately, like I
Or
got
maybe they
100%.
tried to polish it too much, kind of thing.
I mean, it could be that, but like literally everything on the ship, I'm like, almost all of this feels like a set. Like I can tell this boat's not rocking. Like the camera quality is different than like all the rest of the movies. Like it has, I don't know, everything's weird about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got the fucking cokehead. I gotta make sure guns are labeled correctly. Fucking.
Why are your shelves slanting, Keith?
Why are my shelves slanting?
Yeah, he says your shelves are slanting. Guess you should work on your left, right, left combo.
Ain't nothing slanting.
Does anybody have anything good to say about this movie other than me?
No.
Just that kill in the beginning. I do like that. I think it's creepy to be stuck in the little you can't go anywhere. You can't run. He's just slowly killing you. But
Okay,
other than that, I mean, the shot of him in Times Square is cool.
I was gonna say I like the boombox scene.
Yeah, I can't give a movie a stars up for 20 seconds. I can't. It's like,
The Times Square scene is, that is what it is, and it's good.
I don't
there's
understand.
something silly. There's something silly, but also kind of cool with Julius's boxing match with him. Since there's no music and it's just this kind of him.
Yeah,
going
it goes
at
on forever.
Yeah, I kind of dig that. I also joked about like when they all like are ready to fight Jason and Julius puts down all these weapons, like grab what you want, and somebody actually doesn't grab the shotgun, like before grabbing an axe. I'm like, fuck that.
Not like it matters.
not that it matters, but you don't know what you're facing. But like if I got an axe or a shotgun, and I'm not a lumberjack, probably taking a shotgun.
There's too many weird things in this movie. Like, what kind of drugs did they like forcefully give the main character? Because it did absolutely nothing to her. Rather, it was really weak, or she's like a really big drug head. We just don't know it.
I imagine it's heroin, but like I'm like that
It's
scene
green.
that scene is so weird because it's like when they kidnap her. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to sit there and like, well, are you just? I think we should split up. Like, they just took your daughter. Is that his daughter?
Yeah.
They just took your daughter. Two heroin addicts. I don't know. Like, I think I'd have to fucking kill those motherfuckers.
Julius was like the only. Julius was like the only one who was like, "Let's go," and they're all like, "No."
I don't know. It's a weird. Like, they're gonna rape her. They're gonna kill her. Like, they're gonna do.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
All right. Jason Goes to Hell.
And every time I watch Takes Manhattan, all I'm doing is like where it's the old crummy New York. I'm just waiting for like the Ninja Turtles or Jack Burton to like pop up because it like has the same level of cruddiness to New York.
Well, New York in the 80s wasn't a great place, apparently.
No, especially not in Times Square at all.
Yeah, you gotta watch it for toxic waste.
Yep.
Yeah, they pump toxic waste through the sewer.
Watch out for the cook. We'll get thrown against the glass and break anyway.
How
Jason,
you kill the alligators.
So it's like when we were watching it, Kayla's like, "Why is there just like this barrel of green shit sitting here?" I was like, "I don't know.
It was the 80s, man.
It's just there."
the plot device.
The Ninja Turtles can't get any bigger without it.
Okay, so I like Jason Takes Manhattan regardless.
That's cool.
Yep, but I still hate Halloween 2007.
Best thing about it was we got the Arsenio Hall appearance. That's
Yeah, he was on there.
Oh yes.
And I don't think he said a word. He didn't see he was in character the whole time, wasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
He was, and Arsenio Hall did not know what to do with it.
Okay, anything else before we move on?
Cool.
Yeah.
Nah.
Okay.
We can just skip to the end of the show.
So that's our show for the night. Final thought.
Okay.
We got to give Jason Goes to Hell its due because I think Jason Goes to Hell has two of the best characters in the entire series, honestly, with Steven and Creighton Duke. Because I did a video on the whole.
Duke, I will definitely agree with.
Steven is a good character. He's doing whatever it takes to save Jessica and the baby. And like he even gets his goddamn fingers broken by some stranger.
Well, that was the thing I was going to bring up is like this movie out of the rest of the franchise, all the characters seem more like characters.
Yeah.
They all have a personality and they just feel like actual people instead of just like
They're not just caricatures.
yeah.
Yeah. I remember liking that character when I saw it in the theaters. Like it was a fun movie. It's like, what is this? What are they? I mean, I applaud them. Like I'll give it to Manhattan just because they tried to change the formula, get the fuck out of the woods. That's a refreshing thing. And I applaud Joe Goes to Hell because it was a bold choice. And you know, but I don't know. I don't know if it works, but Creighton Duke, you know, I remember when it came out, I thought, is this the guy in black from Halloween 5? Is that what this guy is? Like, before he knew who he was.
I wish there was more of him, but it was that's it. Remember me? He even says remember me at the end of the movie. It's like from when? Like pretty much I think it's a single serving movie, period. I don't think it has anything to do, like people say, like I saw today, somebody say, how did Jason get back to Crystal Lake from Manhattan? He didn't. It's a single serving movie. The rest of these are all single serving movies. After Jason Takes Manhattan, the continuity's blown up and there is none.
It's the Freddy's Dead of the series.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah.
Bringing the family member in, they can kill them, they can give them birth, they can do all like that. That's and the other thing I always had a problem with was the opening. All right, now Jason's pretty sharp. But they were actually able to set up a setup for him, like with all these lights and all that. But also, like, all right, she's going in there to lure him. Why the hell is she taking a shower? Like, why is she going to get naked? The most vulnerable you can get. If your whole purpose was you're going in there to be bait for Jason.
She's an FBI bait.
Well, they know that's when
FBI
strikes.
They amped that up in Jason X because he's still frozen, and all of a sudden people are having sex, and simultaneously he comes back as soon as any kind of sex act happens.
Yeah,
taking a shower. Sex act,
what was that?
but,
Boys in the Hood. You can smell the sex in the air.
yeah,
That's Jason.
Nice.
Cuba Gooding Jr.'s upstairs with my daughter.
not a fan of Jason Goes to Hell, but I do like the appearance of the Evil Dead Necronomicon, and I like Freddy's glove. Yeah, it was just kind of like a toss everything in there just to see what sticks. I don't know why the Necronomicon's in there, and that knife that changes form when it touches the Voorhees.
I think the Necronomicon was in there because weren't they shooting Army of Darkness? K&B was doing Army of Darkness at the same time.
Probably, but
I think that's what it was. They took that over from the set of that, just to kind of throw it in as an Easter egg.
Jason's a Deadeye, don't you know?
I mean, Adam Marcus was like, what, 25 years old when he did this fucking movie? Like, I would throw any Easter egg too, like at the same time. Like, he obviously, we know he teased the Freddy versus Jason 12 years before it actually happened. But I mean, you got to remember, he was like literally 25 years old when he made this fucking movie. And
Yeah, he was young.
And he had like strict requirements from Sean as well.
So David Gill, if you don't know, also Kane Hodder wears the glove in that scene.
Yep.
I always wonder why they don't. I also wonder why they didn't just pull a laugh from Robert from the, like, why it's not Robert, like, because it's New Line Cinema. Like,
yeah,
exactly.
Robert's like, I need lots of money. Just use my laugh track.
I should own it.
I mean, I have fun with Jason Goes to Hell. It's not one that I watch very often, but when I do watch it, my mind totally separates it from the rest, and I just kind of go along for the ride. I mean, there's a lot of stupid in it, but
yeah, because when you can do that, when you can separate it from the rest, it makes it a lot better and a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah.
I think the best thing it has going for it, like I said, is just the characters are actually characters, and like the whole diner family.
Leslie Jordan, was that his name?
So absurd.
I go that guy. Yeah, like you're right. Everybody, there's no like normal person in that movie. I guess other than maybe Aaron Gray. Maybe Aaron Gray's normal, but
they're like the most normal people.
I don't know. I think it just seems like small town people to me. Like even that scene where Jason possesses the cop and the girl's picking him up or whatever, and he slams her into the door. By the way, there are some good kills in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah, touch on because you got the tent pole or whatever that goes.
The best one.
Yeah,
it's
there's
so
that.
good.
Yeah, there's some really good kills, and even the two cops getting their heads smashed together is pretty cool. You see all their faces distorted. Adam Marcus is in the movie. You guys know that, right? He's the only cop who seems to survive. Thank you, Crazy Dude. Crazy Dude punches him out. But yeah, I think this movie. Like I said, I hated it for many years, but I think it's kind of underrated. And I think I do think a lot of people do pilot with the rest of the movie, like there is a continuity with it. It's not. Remember that this Jason Goes to Hell is a standalone movie.
Yeah, after rewatching it, because I haven't watched it in a long time, it's definitely not where it was on my list anymore. Use my finger.
Oh, Seth, it looks like he needs to talk. You can tell when Seth needs to talk. I've noticed over the course of the last 9 months or whatever. Right?
Yeah, he goes to move his mouth and he does the lean thing.
Use your finger.
I don't know. I forgot. So
Damn it,
Old
Seth.
age man.
Shut up. Me and Nate are older than you.
Don't you touch that fucking ray of sunshine.
I love that line. I love that character. Joey Beach, he was fucking hilarious.
God.
She's a great character.
It's like you're doing it wrong. You do it like this, and perhaps the 2-for-1 sale.
Yeah, could you?
You make another patty.
What a cheap ass burger. I'd eat it though. Oh, let's see. Cobra has a theory here. Had a theory how Roy Burns got Jason's powers was from possession by Jason. I don't think Roy was possessed or had powers. I think he was just killing people. But he did seem, maybe it was just some of that. What do they call that? That adrenaline. Maybe he had maybe a fresh adrenaline.
Adrenochrome.
You're tuning on the adrenal gland.
Yeah.
Well, Hunter Thompson got it from him.
Return of the Nameless Diner from.
Exactly.
Where was the shot? Because that'd be a cool diner to go see. I'm looking. All right. Anybody have anything else about Jason Goes to Hell? We're trying to get Adam Marcus on the show. I've talked to him numerous times, and he's always interested. But I'm trying to get him to do a commentary with us. So I think that'd be a lot of fun. Sitting around talking to Adam about his movie while watching his movie.
It was apparently filmed in Canoga Park in Thousand Oaks, California.
Figure it was California.
Yeah, well.
New line, what gonna go far?
Yeah, Sean Cunningham. Sean Cunningham kind of built the series and ruined it all at the same time. He should have just kept his hands out of it.
Jason Goes to Hell gets a bad rap, just because Jason isn't in the movie very much.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That
it's not a terrible movie. Like, the idea behind it is actually really good. It's just.
But, I mean. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, Seth, please.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, a lot of that, too, is just that's from Sean's commands. He wanted to get rid of the mask. He wanted to get Jason out of there. Like, so he kind of, I think Cunningham really put Adam Marcus kind of like in a corner as far as what to do with the ninth movie. I mean, Cunningham made the first movie. He didn't agree with Jason being the killer for the rest. He had nothing to do with anything with the series, and then he comes back and he wants to get rid of the mask,
Get rid of it's like Kevin Smith speaking. What was it, John Peters for Superman? I don't want to see the costume. I don't want to see him fly. Superman.
I want to see polar bears. Daggers. Remember, the symbol is going to be. You can take it off and make daggers. He's going to wrestle polar bear. Brainiac is wrestling.
At the Fortress of Solitude, shouldn't he have like guards or something?
Yeah.
Superman. He could fight polar bears.
Yeah, I agree. Sean Cunningham, the lawsuit needs to end. Sean Cunningham's kind of a prick, it seems like.
Yeah. Peter's still, doing his thing too.
Yeah. All right. So, Jason X, you guys want to go to space?
Yeah, outlawed hockey.
Well, yeah, hockey's going to be outlawed in like 4 years. Jason X, I think it's 2024. They outlaw hockey. So,
did she get the math? Did she get the math wrong? Because it's in like what, the year 23 something?
No, it's 500 years after, I believe.
I thought she said it was like the 2347 or 20. Shit, I don't know what they said it was.
Jason X is the year 2455.
Okay,
it's not even 500 years, but
whatever.
Beginning takes place in, I guess, 2001. Maybe, I don't know. Going to Earth 2. Is this a DC movie also?
This movie is absurd and over the top and fun.
Well, yeah, I mean, you say Jason Space. Are you gonna go? Oh, this is gonna be like real serious. I mean, it's like a Friday the 13th spoof of Alien or Aliens. It's basically what it is. That's what you got, and I'd say it's. And for the budget they have, I think it was like $11 million for a big sci-fi action horror thing. I mean, I think they did all right.
It was one of the best kills in the series, almost.
Oh yeah.
Actually,
my favorite kill of the series.
yeah, well, yeah, the
Face smash.
face smash.
That's my favorite kill of the franchise. I will go back to that and double down on that.
The guy getting thrown on the thing and spinning, that was pretty cool.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah,
some
screwed.
cool stuff. And I love the teacher. Yay, he just wanted his machete.
Oh, that's weird. I think it is like when I watched it. That's the first. I think it's only the second time I've watched it, and I was like, I'm kind of enjoying this. It's kind of I kind of like just the idea that because Jason is this indestructible thing. So yeah, he would just keep going and going and going. The fact that like again, like aliens, they want to keep him and use him for weaponize him, and he's worth more money. And this guy's like, oh, he's worth a lot. We can keep him and sell him, and you know, alien on Jason in the Alien film. I mean, it's.
Put him in a microwave. He thaws out. It's fine. He's just going to be.
Because it brought the question to everybody's mind. Whenever we see Michael Myers in space.
Oh, please don't do that.
Metal hedges.
What about Freddy in space? We got Leprechaun, we got Jason, Jason's probably the most logical one to do it with. I think,
Yeah.
Of the big three anyway. I guess Freddy, people could dream Freddy in space if they're in space.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was fun. There's really dated CGI in the movie.
Yeah.
I like the concept of
What, nipples falling off? That was bad CGI.
Not that. No, I'm talking about like him slicing the people in half in the game room.
Yeah. Todd Farmer, right?
Todd Farmer, yeah, knocking his head off. Yeah. I don't know. It's a fun movie. I don't really have much to say. It's not. This is my number 12 out of the 12 movies. It's one I rarely watch. See, this is how I kind of made my list. I never watch this one. I never go to watch this one unless there's a reason to. Like this. This was the reason to. Making my ranking was a reason to. Like, I'll watch Jason Goes to Hell every now and again. I'll definitely watch the Paramount movies because the Paramount movies are the best of all of them. And I rarely watch it. This is the one I watch the least. It's number 12 on my list. Jason X has its moments. I'm still not a big fan though. Seen it a few times. I remember when it came out. It didn't come out. It was like one of those, almost like the Halloween 6 producer's cut. You had to get a bootleg of it to see it before it hit theaters because I think it sat for like 2 years. I think it was 99 or something. And it was like, oh, you got a copy of Jason X? Let's watch that son of a bitch. And I thought it was a shitty bootleg. And then a couple years later, it came out at the theater, and I still didn't watch it because the bootleg was bad enough. So
I saw it in theaters. It was like the first Jason movie I saw in theaters, unfortunately, but I had a lot of fun with it. I mean,
wait, you've had some bad luck, haven't you? With what was your first Halloween movie? Wasn't it Resurrection or was it
H2O?
Oh, was it still bad luck?
Yeah, I should have seen them sooner. But I mean, I like Jason X. Like it's just a totally goofy, fun way. Like I can't watch it after watching like 1 through 6, but if I'm watching 8 through 8 or 9, I can put Jason X on and not have a problem with it.
Oddly enough, so when Reynolds got interested in wanting to watch Friday the 13th, that was the first one I showed him. It's like it goes uphill from here. Don't worry. But yeah, again, a single serving movie that really we're going to talk about two things. He's got two different looks in this movie. The first one is one of the worst, in my opinion. Period. The mask with its upturned nose, and I hate the way he looks. He's got peach fuzz on his hair. I hate the way he looks terrible, in my opinion. Like Kane Hodder, he's got the best makeup and probably the worst ones also. And but everybody loves Uber Jason. Guess who's not a fan of Uber Jason? Yeah. I think Uber Jason's stupid. I don't think he looks cool. I like people see when people see the mask wall behind me, they're like, "Oh, where's the Uber Jason mask?" Well, fuck that mask. I've got that red one instead. From Nate's
I would have preferred if he had his classic look throughout the entire film.
Yeah, not the look that he had though. I wish they would have been like, "Hey, remember Part 7? How cool he looked in that? Let's do that."
Yeah.
Instead of putting him in this bullshit, Uber Jason suit, and then that fucking worst mask, in my opinion, is that goddamn mask he wears for the first half of the movie. Terrible, just terrible.
I still prefer it over Uber Jason.
Yeah, it was 2 years early. It was number one torrent for like a year. Yeah, I remember that very well. Let's see, the face smash and the VR sleeping bag. You want to smoke pot? What did she say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marital sex and smoke some pot or something like that. Yeah, that's a really fun scene. I think he saw me. I like the whole VR stuff. I think that's really cool. Hey, nothing wrong with Resurrection.
He's a
Nothing.
he's a defender of that movie.
You guys should do an episode on it on your new show.
Oh, we're going to.
Oh Lord! Of course, I've told you guys I can watch that and not bitch about it, so it's whatever. Uber Jason should have looked more like the Terminator, like just bones, like the endoskeleton.
They should have done like a Part 7 where you can see his bones, but his bony
Like a leather jacket
bites on it.
Leather jacket, sunglasses. I think. Oh,
Yeah. Leather jacket, sunglasses. Looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
yeah.
No, it's what I'm just not a big fan of the Uber Jason. Neither is David Gill. If this movie kept up with 1 through 8, why does he look like a normal dude with hair? His hair and eyes look fine. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Just poor choices all around. Let's put Jason in space and make him look almost unrecognizable, like somebody else is under the mask. Maybe it's David Cronenberg under the mask.
Yeah, I mean, you could take the name like Jason X off of this and all of like the ties in, and you wouldn't even notice it's a Jason movie.
Well, I mean,
Probably.
most of the cast were from a couple of sci-fi shows that were going on at the time, like Andromeda and something else. I didn't watch them. I had no idea who Lexi Doig or whatever the fuck her name is. I knew what Peter Menta is because he's cool, and he made my top 13 list.
Did any of you guys ever read the sequel novels that they put out?
I
Michael
know about
Herbert.
them, but I've never read them.
I read the first one. It was interesting.
It was interesting.
I don't remember. Like I read it like back when it first came out. Whenever the movie came out and those books came out, I still have it. Should probably revisit.
Jared, did you ever watch them?
Wall.
Okay. Oh man, yeah, Jason X is it's whatever. The movie I'm really wanting to talk to, we're going to talk to after this next one. But again, the movie sucker. Yeah, Cronenberg and his lackeys. That was kind of cool, I guess. He still looked like shit though. Freddy vs. Jason. This was the event of 2003. You remember, don't you, Keith? 7-year-old you.
I mean,
Freddy vs. Jason.
I mean, I don't remember if I actually saw this. Because I remember the remake being my first Friday the 13th movie, but I might have saw the number. But I used it all the time.
I was there opening night, Freddy vs. Jason. I was excited. I've been waiting for this since like 1989. Well, Nate did the poster that said 1989, didn't you, Nate?
It's on his shirt.
This one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! Yeah, that. Did you steal that?
No, I
Buy that
bought
from somebody that stole it from where?
Nope.
They did a They did a reprint of it recently.
Oh, I'm sitting here thinking, uh-oh. Does it have the watermark on it? That's what I'm wondering. Yeah. Yeah, so, like, I was a huge fan of both Freddy and Jason leading up to this. And I got to say, I was not happy with this movie. I want to ask Nate. I want to get Nate's views on this one.
It's not looking hopeful.
It's so hard to watch that movie. It's so like it's still like the fight is the only thing worth watching in this film. Like it's even Robert can't save this thing. It's like I think it. I mean, a movie called Freddy versus Jason. You know what you're getting. This is not to be serious. This is an event. This is. I mean, it's like I think the whole thing is something like when Freddy's like looking at you and talking to you. Not powerful enough yet. I'll let Jason have a little fun. You know, that kind of thing is like when he's talking to the audience, like the villain is communicating with us. Hey, we're in a movie, and I don't have power yet, so I'm going to get Jason to do this. Like that just renders the real characters fucking pointless. Like,
You know, that line, that exact line, I'm going to let you go one more second, but that line always makes me think of something that I wrote when I was a kid. It's like when you're playing in your backyard. I guess I don't have enough power. That's what it reminded me of.
it's yeah, I don't know. It's I liked Monica Keena a lot, and she is awful in this film, except for like maybe the end where she's like, he took everything from me, and I'm not leaving until I watch him die. When she says that line, like when she's getting in there. But was it Ronnie? You should not have done it. I agree. I think
too.
First of all, he didn't want to do it, right? He kept saying no, 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 and they kept. I don't understand that. Like that's the whole situation with the Nightmare remake. Is Samuel Bayer did not want to do that movie, and they kept please, please, please do it, do it, do it. No, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Why are you having to? You shouldn't have to talk your director into making a movie. Like they should, if they don't want to make it, find somebody who does. They're going to put more fucking passion and love into it than that person. And I don't know that. Like when I watch it, it's just really hard to watch. And I know we're talking about Jason here. I know Jason fans were not happy because it is really a Freddy movie.
Yeah.
And Freddy is the real villain of the film, which he should be because Freddy is the piece of shit of the two. I mean, he's the pure evil.
Well, at one point, they try to make Jason look sympathetic.
Yeah. But because they made him sympathetic, it's like that's not the Jason fans wanted. Even though Jason gets all the kills really in the movie, there's a lot to say about it.
Bro.
Yeah, that part there. I mean,
God.
It's all this really staged moments where nothing feels real, nothing feels grounded. Therefore, there's no stakes. I don't care about any of these characters that we're following. It's just, can we get back to Jason and Freddy? And I don't know. It's just, and one of the other things that I thought about when I was watching it yesterday was people are so adamant against anyone, but no one but Robert. No one but Robert. No one but Robert. But how many people have you heard? Zach Ward could do it. Zach Ward could be Freddy, because they see one little clip of him mouthing Robert's dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, so that's what you need to convince you is like one actor going, "Hey!" Like it's like the fans are stupid. They don't understand. There's 1,000 people out there who can play that role. You saw Zach Ward do it. Yeah, Zach Ward could be great. I love Zach Ward. He's Scott Farkas, for fuck's sake. He could do it.
Scud.
Hey, Uncle.
Farkas.
And he's Dave from Titus, right? But that's what drives me nuts is fans. It's like when they see a fan film. Oh, Kevin could do it. Roberto could do it. Saw Paul Bailey in makeup. Paul could do it. But are you telling me that Gary Oldman can't do it? You telling me that Daniel Day-Lewis couldn't do it? Like there's no one but Robert Englund or that cosplayer or that fan guy or Zach Ward. But the fight to me is where it's all at.
Happens to play Freddy.
My favorite thing, I think Robert looks great in the movie. I think it's a return to form with the makeup in this movie.
It's the best. It's one of my favorite looks.
It's the best really makeup he'd worn since Stream Master, probably. And I like the glove, how they gave him a heavy duty glove to really fuck with Jason and chop him up and slash at him. And I do like, even though it's like one of the worst scenes in the film because of what is said, the scene with Kelly Rowland, which is just I don't know how the hell that got through, but
what about the Christmas sweater?
Yeah, the whole Christmas. Oh, the F. You know the
Yeah, I know. I don't
Ag,
want to say the word, but yeah.
that line. But
It was a
like,
different time. That word slipped by a lot back then.
yeah, what I like about that scene, or what excites me about that scene, is the way Robert's walking towards her. It's that classic Robert England, Freddy Krueger
I
walk.
like the way he goes. She's
Yeah.
like, "You're good." He's like,
He bows like
yeah.
you're the guy. He's like,
I
yeah,
like that.
yeah. It's a cool scene to him. And then I just like how he like Jason's got this big old. He's like, oh.
You got these teeny weeny knives.
So I mean, it has its moments with the fight. Like if I just watch the fight scene, I'll be okay. But everything else is just disposable film to me.
Yeah. Man, I remember the hype. Remember the
The way in.
you know, it's like first of all, I'm gonna go back to what Cobra here says. By the way, I love Cobra was the name we were gonna. That was the placeholder for my son was Cobra. So when we went to Lamaze class, something like that, when my wife was pregnant, what's your baby's name? His name's Cobra. So anyway,
Marianne Cobretti.
so yes, Kane Hodder should have played Jason. I don't think this is one of the worst looking Jasons of all time. His hockey mask literally looks like a fucking croc. And I wonder if the creator of the croc was like, oh my God, look at that. That looks like a shoe. Let's wear that. Let's wear Jason's mask on our feet. It looks like shit. It's very flat. It's not very rounded. And then he's got the lifts like Frankenstein's monster does. And his costume is literally.
Yeah, it's totally Frankenstein out there. Yeah.
I remember when
wear a jacket.
I remember when the NECA figure for him came out, and everybody in the toy groups were like, "Why is his boot so big?" I was like, "Because the actor in the movie wore platform boots."
If they were to do that, they could have done that with Kane Hodder. And Kane Hodder's not small. He's not a tiny guy or anything like that.
I do have to say though, if you watch the fight, and like I think John Carl Beekler said that Kane Hodder is a Jason that Freddy couldn't fucking hurt. Like Kane Hodder looks like somebody would whoop Freddy Krueger's ass. But so. Because if you do it, like if you think about all the things that Freddy does to Ken Kurtzinger in this movie, could you see him doing that to Kane Hodder's Jason? All the martial arts and all the
pinball.
It wouldn't have worked.
He couldn't even do that to Nancy Thompson or Alice Johnson, and then now he's going to do that to Jason. Bullshit.
Yeah. So they had that slow, lumbering, tall, giant, sympathetic Jason to beat up, and that wouldn't have been Kane's performance. He wouldn't have done it that way.
Well, as much as I'm not a big fan of this movie, I'd rather them make another one.
Yeah,
Do you guys think if a different director did it, if it would have saved it, or do you think it's all script?
Well, first of all, they approved the script from the Mike Shannon and whatever the other guy's name is, and that's where it began. The problem begins.
Well, then they write like 6 scripts or some shit.
Over the course,
ever since
for almost 15 years, there were scripts turned into.
Yeah, because wasn't there one with Pinhead in it?
Yeah, there's one where Pinhead's at the very end. He says, "Gentlemen, what seems to be the problem?" Because they're in hell. So that's actually wrong. But still, that would have been a fun ending. And there's multiple versions of Freddy. This is the best one they picked.
I like the setup. I like that Freddy needs to instill fear in the kids by sending Jason to stir up his name again and all that. I like that idea. I think it works.
It's just like sending Jason. It's just like Jason going to fucking Alice's house in part 2. How did he get there? It's like you're telling me he knew how to get to her house, and Jason knew how to get to fucking Elm Street in Springwood, Ohio. He's coming from Jersey. He's a Jersey boy at heart. And who didn't see him on the road on the way? It's
They should have added a scene to someone pulling over and be like, "You need a lift, Sonny?"
Yeah, I mean, Reverend Sayer could have picked up.
You're hunting, aren't you?
Get in here, old man. Ain't that till Judgment Day.
There's a lot of problems with this movie. Why didn't somebody just come from Elm Street and have a dream at Crystal Lake or some shit like that and conjure up Freddy? And this movie, I don't. Is there a good way to make a Freddy versus Jason movie? That's my question.
Yes, it could be done very, very well.
What would you do?
What would I do?
Yeah, seriously.
I would get both characters right, and I.
Would you let Robert Englund lick a photograph? And
Well, they didn't bring his fucking wife and daughter into it, did they?
I'll say I do like the whole like recalling of Freddy's character, like seeing him in the boiler room and the parents burning it down and stuff. Like that's really
actually,
cool.
I agree. The beginning where they recap Freddy, I thought was cool.
I don't like.
I don't like him looking the picture though.
One thing I don't like is the whole demon Freddy thing. I'm sure a lot of people like that look, but Freddy is not a demon. Demons.
No. You're with
not
the
human.
The fucked up. I hated that. Yeah, I hated that shit.
When people call Freddy a demon, he's not a demon. Demons are inhuman spirits. Freddy was a man. Like,
yeah, he's a man who's infested by dream demons. Canon.
Cannon didn't release that movie. Can't remember if there was anything else I want to add, but the fight is cool. Other than that,
there's scenes of the fight that I really like. I really hate that they changed that one line where Freddy's up there and he knocks the post in. He's supposed to say, "Hey, mama's boy." They go, "Hey, asshole." Why didn't they just keep mama's boy in there? That's
Mama's Boy is great. Like I love one of the lines they cut.
I actually like that.
Yeah,
Mama's Boy.
One of the scenes, one of the lines they cut that I always love was he said, "You're slow, you're stupid, you got no style." It says that to Jason.
Oof.
Okay, and then another problem is Jason being afraid of water.
Yeah.
Again, single serving movie. If you go off of Friday the 13th, sure, maybe he's afraid of water because he drowned, but
it's the fire and water thing.
Kill somebody in water in the Friday the 13th series.
Freddy's obviously he doesn't like fire. Jason doesn't like water, so I mean it does that aspect actually really rang true to me when I first saw that movie. It's like they have their own.
Yeah, but it's still bullshit. How many times did Jason kill somebody in water?
Yeah,
I mean he hitched a ride all the way to New York.
He was like, "Fuck me, get me off of here."
But now he's terrified of water.
I think another problem is like the poor Monica Keena and John Ritter's son. I don't think they realized what movie they were making because they were like totally full dramatic. Like really,
he seemed like he was hamming it up.
He goes full dramatic.
Yeah,
where it's like this is not that movie, dude. This is a movie with a Jason Mewes mimic in it.
Yeah,
that Goldie was pissed about something.
Okay. Freddy vs. Jason gets worse with age.
Yeah.
It really gets worse with age. I like Monica Keena. Not in this movie, but I liked her.
Oh, I loved Monica Keena before this.
Monica Keena has some big old
she's still hot as hell in the movie, but
yeah, she's even hotter in Night of the Demons remake. But
don't forget the cornfield party. I can't remember what that fucking guy says to Jason.
He says, "Hey there, Jethro."
Yeah, that's what it is.
And that's another thing. Like everybody takes their friend's death so lightly. Like, all right, let's go party. I know two of my buddies are dead, and then they watch Jason murder their friend, murder all these people. Hey, just take me home. It's really sad, isn't it? Like that's where we go from here. You're just going to drop your friends one by one off, like after you've witnessed that.
Daddy Daytona has switched to Facebook. Yeah, it's like let's go back to A Nightmare on Elm Street, where Tina dies, and it fucked her up. Yeah. And she knows Rod's going to die. She goes in there, and you can see it on her goddamn face how broken she is that Rod, who probably isn't really her friend, died because she knows what's going on. And in this movie, Gibbs' boyfriend gets smashed in the fucking bed, and sure, she gets upset when Jay was making fun of him or whatever, but that's about it. Come on. It's not a good movie. It's the biggest disappointment in my life up to that point was that movie. Bigger than Resurrection.
I don't know about that.
It is a terrible movie, and they're like the only saving grace is the end with Freddy versus Jason. Like the middle fight that they do, that wasn't great in Dreamland because they had to have one and the other. I do like the very end when Jason comes out of the water carrying Freddy's head and Freddy winks, but that never gave anybody closure.
Mhm.
And I think Jason fans wanted a Jason win, and Freddy fans wanted a Freddy win, and I don't think we got.
Wasn't that the problem also with Freddy versus Jason versus Ash? Like each studio wanted one of their people to win.
And the other problem with that is it's a really dumb idea. So let me ask you guys a question, straight up, and this is for everybody out there watching: who would win, Michael Myers or Jason?
Jason.
Jason.
I see this a lot in horror groups before I left them. It's the
And then
dumb
someone
fucking
immediately
Jason.
shares the fan film that
that dumb fan film
from Australia.
Yeah, Jason would just rip Michael Myers apart, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you found him, Michael Snell.
Hey, Jason's just as good as Michael. Maybe they're both hiding from each other, waiting to strike.
They're playing hide and seek.
I'm making that movie. I'm just gonna go out in the woods and shoot some.
It'll take hours.
They both do the same head tilt thing. Maybe they just look at each other and just.
Well, Michael Myers did that first.
This could take hours.
We're not getting into it. I just
Oh my God.
want to play devil's advocate, and it's Jason. It's always
No, I just mean the actual like cat and mouse between Jason and Michael Myers could take hours.
the Tower Farm.
I will say Freddy vs. Jason has some like good kills though. Like I like the bed folding kill.
Well, that's the alternate take, isn't it? Because he just stabs him. It's one of the two. I can't remember.
Thanks, Amber. That's cute.
Yeah.
I guess we better get to the remake because we're running. It's like almost 9:00.
Yeah, this is the final movie we're doing too because they still haven't gotten to 13 movies yet. How is Halloween going to get to 13 movies before Friday the 13th that was pumping out a movie every year, with the exception of 1983 and 1987? How the fuck does Halloween get us 13 before Friday the 13th? So the 2009 remake, I was there opening night. I was very excited from the trailers I saw. My first impressions from when I saw it was Jason's back and he's badder than fucking ever. I thought I wasn't extremely happy with the way he looked, but I was very happy with the way he moved. Like there's a scene where at the very beginning when he still has a sack on his head where he like revs up the fucking
Yeah, and his fucking foot stomp.
yeah.
I love that shot.
He threw the bitch over a fire in a sleeping bag. It's like, what the fuck? I loved it. I loved that movie. I thought it was fantastic. I don't know why Vince doesn't like it.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's the best since New Blood.
I it's the best one since
If
Jason.
not better, New Blood.
I think it's better than New Blood.
I would tend to agree. Yes, overall.
Yeah.
I think it successfully takes the first four movies and melds them together. It works organically. We see Miss Voorhees beheaded, and we see another.
And the way they did that in the credits, that was awesome.
Yeah, and the opening where we meet the guy's sister and her friends, and
Whitney, yeah,
sets up his storyline. So we get that false opening where those characters are established as much as any Friday the 13th. They're not just cannon fodder. We actually get to spend 10 minutes or I think it's 25 minutes or something for like 20 minutes or something.
It's close to that.
So
it's
they're not just. I mean, a lot of characters in the Friday movies, we get like a 3-minute scene with them just for them to get killed by Jason. Where we're getting 20 minutes of them building, and it works. And we've got a lot of fun stuff, like the Seth Rogen dude sitting there being that annoying fifth wheel for everybody. Where
I love him. When he walks out in the woods
here.
listening to Motorin is like my favorite scene of the whole movie.
And you got the kid from Superstore over there with his girlfriend, and again that sleeping bag scene is just terrifying. And that he's sitting there listening to her and watching her die because he's in the bear trap. I like the survivalist Jason idea that he's got the tunnels under the house and under the ground, and that's how he gets around. He has all these. I mean, he's a hunter, and I love the bat. I love the sack look. I love that, like, the characters that do die, like the old hillbilly guy, there's a reason. Like, Jason would just, like, randomly kill locals in the original series. Like, why didn't he kill them before this day? Like, it's like he's killing this guy because the guy took the weed from the land, right? I mean, he says that, I got the weed I found. So, and we meet that guy not just happenstancely, but because of Jared Padalecki, or whatever his damn name is, going to door to door, where we meet these people organically.
Yeah, and you meet that old lady on the lake who doesn't want anything to do with it because she knows he's out there.
Yeah. I think it does. I think it's a well-made movie.
I do too.
Kick the button on the whoop-ass machine.
It's got Danny Pearl's cinematography, and
there is one thing I wanted to ask, because I saw you were talking about the cinematography earlier, and you just mentioned it. What the hell is with like the random scenes that have like this weird like blurriness going on with them? Is that supposed to be perspective of an eyeball or something? There's like multiple scenes, like when they're like hiding under the canoes and Jason comes back to Camp Crystal Lake. There's like this weird like blurriness to the frame, and then also like
that could just be the lens. If you have a certain type of the long lens is it only focuses on a certain. You have to be perfect in there, so everything around it is going to be blurred. Everything behind it, and if an actor can't move forward, or they, it's like real. It's a kind of prime lens, and it's like. So if you watch more movies, really, if you really watch stuff, I mean, you got your big 4K thing, right? You watch that. Look at the edges of your screen. Most of the time, it's going to be blurred.
Gotcha. Well, I just kept noticing it because also like whenever I'm just going to call him Sam because I don't know his fucking real name. When Sam's talking to the general store owner, like Clay, it does the same thing. It has that blurriness, and I love that store owner. He's like, I would, but the owners are real.
Yeah. And then I like the cat. Well, you got the guy that was in A Nightmare on Elm Street, also the Asian guy who was pretty good. I
love him.
Comic relief. Him and the black fella.
Shoot the boot.
Shoot the boot. It's a pretty good cast. You got the biggest prick of all time. Yes. Apparently, they're saying this movie connects to Transformers also because his name, right?
Yeah. I guess that makes sense.
These titties could win a titty competition anytime.
Yeah, it's true.
He's not lying.
She didn't seem like she was the super hot girl at first, and then take her clothes off and bam, woo!
She's a good looking woman. Then.
Yeah, she was. But Willow Ford that was a cool kill. She was hiding under the deck, and he just stabs her, pulls her up, bounce a little bit.
Behind the boat with Ron Wooderson.
I love that he used the bow and arrow also.
Yes,
that was really cool. Why wouldn't he? If he had one. I like this movie a lot actually, and I pull it out a lot more than I pull out Freddy versus fucking Jason. God, that movie has fallen. The more I think about it, it might be the worst. I think I like Jason X better than Freddy versus Jason. But yeah, so Jared, what about you? What do you think of this one? Seth, neither one of you guys are saying much. Is it hate all around?
No, I love it. I've always liked it since I saw it in the theater. I don't get the hate for it. I love Derek Mears as Jason. He's in my top 5 of Jason actors.
Yeah, definitely.
And I like the characters for the most part. Even Trent, the asshole, I thought he was just
stupendous.
It was a stupendous character.
He's an interesting character, man, because he's like he is a dick, but he does it well. But he's also, I like that he's concerned about his parents' house.
He's
concerned about all this stuff. Like he's like
family heirloom.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably just a dick because he comes from a family of dicks. He's probably scared of his dad. It's like he's probably.
Well, that's why I like it when the guy goes out to the woodshed to get tools used. And he's like, "What? I can't. What's the douchebag's name? Clay."
Never use this shit ever.
No, like he's walking out the shed and he's like, you gotta fix my chair. And he's like, my daddy beats me in this chair, so you gotta fix it.
Yeah, I mean, it's
typical West Virginia.
I'm also I'm a little mixed on the score.
Yeah.
There's times where I like it, and there's other times
Mhm.
where I kind of wish that we had that classic Harry Manfredini score.
Yeah,
Um,
there's certain parts that sound very generic.
because I mean, honestly, if you had the original score and you kind of took away the opening credit scene where they recap Pamela, this could have just been a sequel.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Well, even so, it could have been, even if they recapped the Pamela thing, it could have been. That's what I always looked at. It's like this could have fit almost anywhere else in the timeline.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. The stoner dude, whenever they tell the campfire story at the
Well,
beginning,
what
he
is that?
says he
it's
he
my cat.
he like because he knows the story but doesn't know the story and doesn't know what's real and what's fake about it. He says, but then Jason came back, but then he doesn't really know if he did. So technically, you could say it's just a sequel.
Yeah, maybe this is the direct sequel to Jason Takes Manhattan. You ever think about that? Maybe he grew back up on his way back to Crystal Lake from Manhattan, which is only a hop, skip, and a jump. Yeah, I'd have to go back to the tape to find out why. But Vince did tell us why he hated this so much. I
He
just
said
don't.
it wasn't that he doesn't like the movie; it was that he hates it because of what it could have been. It could
Yeah.
have been something better instead of just the same old titty douchebags and kills. It could have
Yeah.
been something that built into something better and built into a new franchise.
And that's where I totally agree with. I think I was off this. I think I had left the show when he got into that. I think I had to leave.
Yeah, I think
but
he was on hour 6 of.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, like the thing. Yeah, hour 6. Yeah, but he's right. Like I remember when they were remaking Friday the 13th. My feelings were, if any movie has potential to be better, because I don't. I like when Halloween was being remade. I'm like, they're not going to do better than John Carpenter did. When Nightmare on Elm Street was being rated, they're not going to be better than Wes Craven. I think someone could do Friday the 13th a whole lot better than Sean Cunningham did.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what it was. And Vince loves those films as much, just like Jared. Jared loves these films as much as we love Nightmare and Halloween and all that. So I think, and those films don't necessarily always get the respect of those films. Like people look at Halloween as art, as a great film, not just a slasher film, but more so. I don't think people always look at Friday that way, and I think that's what Vince is trying to do or trying to say is these movies can demand respect. There's enough there to make it respectable and make it prestigious and make it serious and make it a really strong piece of cinema. And I think that's what he's saying is they did, but at the same time they just resorted to the drug use, the titties, and the kill count and all that stuff. Although I do think it has, but at the same time, is that what Friday fans want? I mean, you can't replace everything that made the series work.
Well, I mean, when they tried to change things, people bitched. Look at Jason Goes to Hell. Look at I mean, people bitch. When you go back to formula, people bitch. So I think they just went safe on this, and it was the same screenwriters as Freddy vs. Jason too. So,
Yep.
Surprise, surprise.
And I mean, what's always going to go safe most of the time. They want the investment back.
Well,
no, this was my. I mean, I've said it 1,000 times, but this was my first Friday the 13th movie, and I don't remember a lot of movie going experiences most of the time. Rather, I'm super excited or I get pissed off about something. But this, I remember this night almost completely fully because I went midnight release. I think it was I think it came out on a Friday, and the whole fucking theater was just packed, and
Yeah,
it was
think about
nothing but
February
kids.
13th.
It was nothing but teenagers, and I wasn't expecting to see so many kids that I went to school with there, and it was just a giant event.
Yeah, I mean, I went opening night and I loved it. And guess what I did? I bought tickets for the next day because I liked it so much. I thought it was great. I was like, "This Jason's back. Jason's back. This is better than most of the sequels." You know, that's.
And then we never got a sequel.
And yeah, we never got a sequel. I remember thinking though that he's back. I'm so happy he's back, and he's back in a big way. And I can't wait for the 13th film. And it never happened. And
why did it never happen? Was that
Because
Never
the second week box office, the numbers dropped like 60%, and it kept going down from there.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess that's it. We're done with all the Jason stuff. I mean, I enjoy talking about these. In our old shows, we used to talk about these movies quite a bit. I love the Friday the 13th movies. They're a lot of fun, and going back through and watching one through the it's funny they're bookended. Two number ones. You know, the first one and the remake first one. But they're always fun to watch. Even the bad ones are fun to watch, in my opinion. Unlike Halloween, who has bad ones that are hard to watch, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Tina. I don't know. I've listed my rankings. We've all ranked these before. I think unequivocally we can say that 4 and 6 are the favorites, regardless of my joking. You know, 2 is, I think, underrated. I think 2 is a lot better than people may give it credit for. So you know, if we do a top 5 Friday the 13th movie our list, I would feel safe even putting the remake at number 5, maybe. Honestly, you know, and then 1 and 2 will definitely be Jason Lives and the final chapter. Part 2 is going to be in there, and then there's one spot open. What are we throwing in there?
7.
Jason X. Yep.
Jason X.
I would say the first one. I would go with if we did a group. I'd say the first one. The first one is underrated. It's not the greatest, but it's good.
Yeah.
You know?
I think you gotta go with the first one too in top 5.
So there you go. Our 5. We're not listening to you in your part 7 propaganda, okay?
Propaganda. Jesus.
Part 7 wins best costume.
There we go.
Best costume. Here's your support ribbon.
He also gets the best scene where roof falls on him. That also happens.
That's the award at like horror film festivals. Like you give the costume a best award and best zombie kill scene.
So next week we're gonna move on from Jason. We had fun with these movies. I had fun. I hope everybody else had fun. I think this Thursday I think we're doing the commentary for Nightmare on Elm Street. Am I wrong on that? I got 2 thumbs up. Nate takes Staten Island. We're doing the original Nightmare. We should do the remake just to fuck with people.
We should do the remake. That'd be a fun one to do.
I'm not ready for the remake. Let's do the original one.
Ready for hot top.
I don't mind the remake. The remake has grown on me more than I'd ever thought it would. More so than even Halloween's remake. So
still better than Freddy's Dead. Yes, it is.
It is. Better.
Listen, when you get top-notch cameos from Tom and Roseanne Arnold, there's nothing that's going to beat that. Okay.
Oh shit! I was totally wrong. You're right.
You are. I mean, and then Lisa Zane is out of her mind acting her ass off in that movie. You know,
she was good in it.
Yeah. Oh, she's great. I love Lisa Zane. She's gorgeous too. But no, it's probably better. But if I'm gonna list them, I'm putting that Freddy's Dead ahead of it because I love Freddy's Dead. It's silly. It's a cartoon. It's the cartoon Freddy. You know. But anyway, I think Thursday we're doing. Is that okay with everybody?
I'm down.
Fine with me.
Nate, was that you?
What?
What do you think? Are you cool with that? I know you're not a big Nightmare fan.
I don't know. I might suffer through it, I guess.
Yeah. Here we go. Silver Bullet Part 2. He's gonna. Look at the lighting in this movie. Actually, the lighting is fantastic in Elm Street. So that's a movie I can watch.
Jacques Kitkin.
David, you can watch the Dream Warriors commentary. It's on YouTube, I believe. We did do that. It was fun. But this is better. A Nightmare on Elm Street. And then on Tuesday, our last show before Thanksgiving, because we're not going to be here on Thanksgiving. Well, I'll be here, but not talking to you people.
No. We're going to be eating food.
We're doing a Nightmare ranking show. We're going to rank all of the Nightmare movies. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say Freddy vs. Jason's number 9.
I would say I probably won't be doing anything, so I'll probably be live Thursday playing a horror game, maybe.
Hey, there we go. All right. That sounds good to me. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming out and hanging out with us.
Oh God, what was that? I
Not
heard
me.
like all of your phones ding.
It wasn't on me.
Oh,
So anyway, we're gonna be with you on Thursday. We'll see you then, and then Nate, hang out for just 2 seconds, can you?
So,
There isn't a man at the door right now, is there?
almost, yeah.
Almost. Okay. All right. We will see you guys later this week. All right. Thanks for joining us. Say bye, everybody.
boy.
Bye, everybody.